What are correlation exists between anatomy of the digestive tract and feeding habits of fishes? There is stronger correlations between the anatomical structures of the digestive tract and the feeding habits of fish. Herbivores fish that depend on fibrous food such as phytoplankton and microphytes differ anatomical and behaviorally from carnivorous fish that consume meat and other more digestible feeds. Number 2. What are the 4 types of feeding behavior of fish in their natural habit? There are 4 basic eating groups among fish: carnivores, herbivores, omnivores, and limivores. Each group of fish needs to be fed in particular way. Carnivores are meat-eating fish, while they will never damage your plant life. You will be lucky if you are not find any of the smaller fish disappearing mysteriously. Number 3. What are the different parts of the functions of digestive system of all fish? Here are the different parts of digestive system of fish. A. The structural components of a fish digestive system include the mouth, teeth, gill, rakers, esophagus, stomachs, pyloric trachea, pancreatic tissues, exocrine and endocrine, liver, gallbladder, intestine and anus. B. Crustaceans. The digestive systems of the malcolostine crustaceans, namely the decomposed, isopods, amphipods, and mysids, is among of the most complex organ system of the animal kingdom, serving multiple functions such as food processing, absorption and storage of nutrients, synthesis and digestive enzymes, and blood proteins. Number 4. What are the 4 general configurations of shapes of the fish stomachs? The muscle layers on the anterior parts of is straightened and gradually replaced by smooth muscles. Posterior and junctions with the stomach is almost imperceptible. The stomach is usually the most muscular parts of the tube and may have different shapes: straight, G-shapes, and U-shapes. Some teleosts, mainly herbivores, micropagus, and detrivorous species, have no stomachs. The stomach has longitudinal folds. Number 5. Discuss the relationship between gut length and feeding habits of fishes. A strong relationship between gut length and the total length, significant relationship 0.5 for 52 species, was found areas by the hypothesis. All of the allometric growth with TL was confirmed for 27 out of the 52 species. For some, TL and GL differs for species with different feeding habits: omnivores, carnivorous, and previously reported. Finally, for the same TL and GL also differs from the species. The different habitats, reef associated, pelagic, bentopelagic, demersals, and gut types. C-shapes with multiple loops, Z-shape and Z-shape, straight, convoluted, short with spiral bilb. Number 6. Differentiate the 4 types of epithelial cells found in the hepatopancreatic tube of the crustaceans. Each tube consists of the 4 cellular types: E. Embryonic, B. F. Fibrillar, R. Sportive, B. Blister-like. E. Cell have embryonic features and some of them were found in mitosis. And B. Possess an apical brush border. F. Cells have a central or basal nucleus or conspicuous REER, and dilated Golgi crystalline. Our cells shows polar organizations of organelles in their areas. Apical, with numerous mitochondria or serous tubules. Central areas with the nucleus REER, and the basal area containing SER like tube system and microtondia. Number 7 questions. Define and explain digestions. Digestions of the complex process of turning of the food you eat into nutrients which the body uses for energy growth and cell repairs needed to survive. The digestion process also involves creating waste to be eliminated. Number 8 questions. Describe the steps of enzymes involved. A. Protein digestion. Protein digestion begins when you are first starting chewing. There are 2 enzymes in your saliva called amylase and lipase. They are most break down the carbohydrates and fats. One protein source reaches your stomach's hydrocolloic acid enzymes called protease. Break it down into smaller chains of amino acids. B. Lipid digestion. Lipid digestions begin with the mouth, continues into the stomach, and ends in the small intestines. Enzymes involved in triglycerol digestion is called lipase. There are proteins that catalyze the partial hydrolysis and triglycerides into mixtures of the fatty acids and acylglycerols. C. Carbohydrate digestions in fishes and crustaceans. The fish has a low ability in digestions of carbohydrates due to the specific carbohydrate enzymes that affect solubility and amylase of digestibility of the different carbohydrates have been reported in silver perch. 9. Discuss the factors that may affect digestions and absorptions of fishes. Digestion is the process of the hydrolysis of the and solubilizations of nutrients into molecules suitable for transportation through the intestine wall. Fish digestions begin the esophagus, which is short and flexible enough to allow food transit, but lubrications and mechanical movement are required. For example, in the tilapia, Orechromus niloticus, and the oral cavity and mucus secreting glands lubricating in the mouth and allowing better swallowing, besides muscles and adipose tissues responsible for the mouth functions. Number 10. Explain the different stages in the feeding process in fishes. Fish lakes. This is the most popular type of the food in universal, which mean suitable for species feeding in all areas of the aquarium. First, it is flow on the surface, then it falls down and dissolves all over the aquarium, and the possibility to eat individuals that prefer lower areas. Fish pellet. Ideal for the mid-water feeders and fish feeding the bottom of the aquarium. They are available in different size and irregular or slowing sinking versions. Their structures and has a mouth surface and closed pores, which enables slow water absorptions, high hydrostability, and limited release of the components into the water. Tablet for fish. They are great advantage in that they can be glued into the aquarium wall or placed at the bottom. They can be used to feed bottom fish, crustaceans, as well as mid-water feeders. Fish sticks, floating for medium and large species of the fish that collect it from the water surface. Fish vapors. As the wafers quickly fall into the bottom, they will be the ideal food for the crustaceans and fish feeding at the bottom zones. This food absorbs water slowly and thus retains its shapes for a long time. Will turn into makes it an ideal food for fish whose mouth opening is adapted to scrap the food from different surface. Fish chips. Fish chips shapes like a plus disc and are distinguished by the high hydrostability. Although they are mainly intended for larger species, small specimens also have no problem with eating them. They simply bite them off piece by piece. Freeze-dried fish food. Freeze-dried food is a type of food that is somewhere in the middle between natural and artificial ingredients. It is made from the crustacean larvae, insects, and zooplankton free of water. The freeze-drying process consists of freezing these creatures and placing them into a vacuum, with cause of water evaporate so that food retains the natural properties, taste, and smells. Natural foods. Natural foods considered as the best solutions for aquarium fish when it's come into predatory. It means living organisms and herbivores aquariums inhabitants are sure to enjoy algae, vegetables, or aquatic plants. Finally, handful of tips: small fish species and those with small mouth holes should be fed with the plagues and microgranules. Larger species that collect food from the water surface are best fed with chips and sticks, while bottom fish eat flakes, pellets, tables, or wafers. 11. Name some methods of the permeating gene. Give examples and disadvantage of each method. Weight food records. Advantages. Consider the most precise and dietary intake assessment may be used to correlate precise intake with biomarker levels. Disadvantages. High respondent burden may impact food or quantities that are selected may accurately reflect intake during the study period, not habitual food for intake or selections. Food diary or dietary records. Advantages. May be more accurate for culture-specific food, unique foods, or dishes, or food that are consumed very rarely, less reliance or on memory. Disadvantages. Relatively high respondent burden may affect foods or quantities that are selected. Patients tend to record less diligently as the durations increase. 24-hour recall. Advantages. Can be completed by the face-to-face interview by telephone, can be used intelligent or population reflect in make a previous day for participant or less they alter eating behavior. Disadvantages. Requires skills interviewer requires sufficient memory skills, can be affected by inadvertent or intentional reporting errors, seasonal variations, and day of the week. 12. What is the important to know the nutrient content of feedstuff and their level before one can start formulating a feed. Feed formulation is essentially applied nutrients. A number of term expensives are introduced that will be put a practical use as information presented on the nature and quantities of various feedstuffs and the information presented on the nutrient requirements of the fish. Precise understanding of these terms is essential for the correct applications. There were 13 questions. Why is protein the first nutrient to be considered in formulating a diet? Protein is usually the first nutrient considered, with the level of energy in the diet being adjusted to provide the optimum ratio. The protein has to be balanced the essential amino acids. It is the main constitute of the body of the piece of the body. Animal sources are higher in protein than plant source. 14. Discuss the factors of the considered and importance in formulating feed for specific species. The main objective of feed formulations is to utilize the knowledge of nutrient requirements, locally available feed ingredients, and digestive capacity of the fish, development of a neutrally balanced mixtures of feedstuff. Give at least 3 feedstuffs that are good source a protein: meat product, beef, chicken, lamb, pork, or kangaroo, fish, and seafood, eggs. Number B. Lipid. Common source are nuts, walnuts, hazelnuts, pecans, almonds, and peanuts. Soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, flaxseed oil, canola oil, and fish, truth, herring, and salmons. Saturated fat. This fat is found in the animal products, dairy products, palm and coconut oils, and cocoa butter. C. Carbohydrates. Dairy foods such as milk, beans, and pulse and nuts. 16. Calculate the amount of the fish and rice bran in a diet that contains 30% proteins. The protein contents of the fat meat and rice bran are 80% and 15% respectively solutions. So here are the solutions. Fish meals is a 30%, 60 and 30%, 60% is equal to 0.5. 30% and 60% is equal to 3.6, that equal to 0.5. Rice bran is equal to 30% and 15% is equal to 2 per 2. 30% is 30% and 15% is equal to 30%. Half 15 is equal to 2. So that is the formula of fish meals and rice bran. So wala ako dito. Sagot sa number 17. 18. What are the important things to consider in the preparation of aquafeeds? The species of the fish raised, its feeding behavior, feeding habits, and pond size, stocking density, temperatures, and quality. Number 19 questions. Why do need to process a feed and feed ingredients? The processing is performed in order to improve the digestibility of speeds of the process is performed in order to improve digestibility of feedstuff, to extend the shelf life of the product, to make use by the product of the human food industry such as wheat, milling, soybean meal, and hulls, rice bran, and beef pulp. 21. Explain the importance of knowing of the moisture contents of feedstuffs and feed, especially prior to storage. Moisture content food can have a significant impact on factors such as the product taste, textures, appearance, shapes, and weight. It is the implications of the legal and labeling requirements, economically important requirements, the shelf life of the food products, food quality, measurements, and food processing operations. Deviations from the optimal moisture content can severely impact numerous qualities of the food product, which can have implications not all on the product quality but also in the safety. For this reason, moisture content analysis have become key component of the food industry. What is the purpose of pelleting, and how does one make floating and sinking feeds? The purpose of the pelleting is to take the finely divided, sometimes dusty, unpalatable, and difficult to handle feed materials, and by using heat, moisture, and pressures from into the large particles. So floating feeds, this is the type of feeds floats on the water. In generally, floating feeds offer numerously advantage over their sinking counterparts. Sinking feeds are solid feed pellets that submerge during applications. They are more economically. Explain briefly the basic steps in small-scale feed preparations and compares these two steps in commercial feed preparations, milling. Small-scale pellet plant is intended for small-scale creators feed pellet creations. Small-scale feed is creator feed hardware framework to deliver feeds for animals, dairy cow. With small-scale feed pellet making machines, you can handle that dairy cattle feeds for self-use, available to be purchased in the business use, contributing a use of or not for use and so forth. The small scales feed pellet creations line delivered by ABC is generally sold at home. Okay, number 25. What are the deleterious effects, prolonged and improper storage of feeds? Lipids reduce feeds attractability, palatability, nutritional value, and produce toxic byproduct. The overall effect is reductions of appetite, growth, and feeding efficiency. Prolonged exposures and rancid feeds weakens the animal adventures, leading to secondary disease and mortality. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat, sir. Thank you.